Hi, everyone, and welcome to our session on engaging lessons. Again, my name's Adrienne Waller. You might have found me on my website, worldwideeducator.org. If not, please visit at any time throughout this presentation. You'll see things that look like this that tell you that you can find more information about whatever it is I'm addressing in the PD section, and then it'll give you the topic where you can find it. So let's get started. Our objective today is that hopefully you can create even more engaging lessons for your learners when you're finished watching. If you have any questions that you have afterwards, something's confusing you, feel free to shoot me an email, and the email is below. So we'll be going through the golden rules of engaging lessons. We'll talk about how a challenging question can spark learning. We'll do a gallery walk about that question. I'll show you a few questions about you decide. We'll talk about creating projects in our classroom, and then I'll briefly recap. There won't be a survey, but you're welcome to give me feedback at any time. And yes, this presentation is available in a shareable folder and lots of other information on my website. So if you would like to participate actively, feel free to grab a pen and this note catcher, which is in the shareable folder, and the link is listed below. You can pause now and go grab those things. All right, welcome back. Now we're into our golden rules. I really like Edutopia, where I've adapted most of these golden rules from a blog that they posted. They have tons of useful information, so visit them at any time. So the first thing is to make lessons meaningful. The first golden rule, make things meaningful. Make it worth students' time to do what you're asking. Why is it important? Why is this of value? Where can they use it? If they don't think that it matters, they won't invest in it. And engagement starts with investment. You want to foster the next golden rule. You want to foster a sense of competency. So you want students to know what they know and be able to work towards what they don't know. And they should have a good understanding of that. And likewise, you should have a good understanding of that so you can push them from their current level onto the next level where you would like them to be. Provide autonomy and support. I think this is so essential. We teachers struggle with this because we want to be in control and make sure we know how everything is going to go. But giving children a chance to share their thoughts, their opinions, where they agree, where they disagree, is really going to have them more invested in the learning, and it's going to stay with them longer. So really try and find a space for learners to be actively engaged and participating and sharing their thinking. Embrace collaborative learning. I love kids working together. I love them discussing and chatting and trying and struggling and supporting each other. But you have to coach them. You have to model what that looks like. You have to teach them how to communicate. I agree with you about this. I disagree about this. Next time, won't you do this? And you'll see that in our gallery walk. Having positive student-teacher relationships. We all know how important this is. This is a lot of why most of us came in here is came into the profession is we had a positive relationship with the teacher who impacted us, or we had a negative one. So we knew how that affected us in school. So it's really important that we're working on having one-on-one conversations, getting to know children as individuals, and being supportive and treating them fairly, not equally. Promote mastery orientation. So getting students to know that they can master things and that effort is important. And so really promoting a growth mindset. Where you are today is not where you'll be tomorrow. And that with work and effort, you can go from not knowing to knowing. And that it's not just about being smart. And you have to celebrate when students put in that effort, even if it's small, so that they continue to make that effort towards being successful and learning. With my teachers, I asked the question after we went through all of those things. I asked them for one or two words to describe what it means to engage students. They wrote them on a post-it note, which you see there, but the words weren't there. We sorted the words afterwards into the groups and categories we thought related to each other. And so that's what this is. I encourage you to do something similar in your classroom. Maybe you're studying animals, have them all write an animal, then sort them into groups. Maybe you sort them into habitats, maybe types, classifying of animals. Maybe you sort them into what they look like, um, adaptations that they have, whatever it might be. But getting the students to think deeply without you telling them how to sort it, get them to kind of flip it and they do the sorting. This was my thinking about what engaging lessons are, words that come to mind for me. You're welcome to take this activity here and take all the post-its from your students and then make it into a word cloud. If you've never used word cloud before, that's what this is. You can find lots of free word clouds online. They're really great tools. I love them. Check them out. If you use social media with your kids, you could also post it on your social media platform for the parents to see as well about whatever topic you're learning about. So the next idea that I think is really important is posing a challenging question. So giving children something that's going to force them to think. It's not going to be easy. It's going to say, I don't know. It's going to encourage you to have group work that's meaningful and makes sense. They're not just doing it because they have to, but there's an interdependence on each other. So here's a question I posed to my teachers that I thought would challenge them. Go on. If you need more time, pause the video here and you can continue to read the question. So after they did that question, they had to prepare a poster that they knew other teams would come around and give them feedback using things like they agree with them, they disagree, remember to. So as they created the poster that represented their thinking here, they knew that they were going to share with others and others were going to share with them. Here's what that looked like. You see teachers are talking about what other groups did, why they did it, do they agree, do they disagree. When they were in teams, they were working, creating, using images. So some have images, some don't. They give feedback. Well done, guys. So how would it feel as a student to get that type of celebration? Or we agree, using some of the sentence stems before. Each group has a different color, so I can see how they're giving feedback. So we agree. You cannot have 33 because. So I can see which teams think what, how they're thinking. Were they correct? And although one person is writing, others are looking and engaging and discussing what's going on. And you see them even giving stars. But you notice each answer looks a little different. And that's okay, because the next time when they get to another challenging problem, maybe they'll take something from one of the other groups as a way to solve it, and they'll use that in their own solving of problems. Here's the answer. Go on and pause here if you want to read it in detail and see if you are correct. The next thing I like to do in my classroom is called You Decide. So I'm going to show you how I use You Decide, where it's not just a right or a wrong or agree or disagree, but I don't allow anyone to stand in the middle because I want them to have conversations with each other. So this is a question you may pose in class. An animal can survive but not use one of the life processes. If they go to agree or disagree, they get to share why they agree with it, why they disagree. Maybe they agree, but they disagree about one part. Maybe they disagree, but agree with one part. It's fine and welcome for that type of discussion. So here's one where part of it is true, part of it isn't. There are a total of 7 countries in the Arab Peninsula. Qatar is one. Qatar is a country in the Arab Peninsula, but there are not 7. So you can see students would really get into lots of discussion about this. And you must always have a full stop when you write a sentence. You must have punctuation when you write a sentence, but it might be a full stop period, or it may be an exclamation point or a question mark. So it gets students to really start thinking about what they're learning in class and how to apply it. What's also really important is that we're asking the right questions. And so those could be concept checking questions or instruction checking questions. Concept checking questions are really checking for students' understanding and of whatever is you're talking about. They're thinking about the language. They may be drawing conclusions. It's after teaching has happened. And generally, these are binary choices, but there's lots of different ways to do this, and it doesn't have to be binary. Or you can do instruction checking questions where it's really about, do the students understand what the task is so that they can successfully do it, so that when you ask concept checking questions, you knew that they understood the task that was going to help them understand the concept. So here are some examples of some concept checking questions. You see these all had binary answers, and this will really help you to uncover if the students really understand the meaning. This is really, really good for ELL or ESL students. So here's an example where you're really checking to see if they understand the instruction. So instruction checking questions. How long will you talk? Who will you talk to? What will you talk about? And these are very quick, but they make sure students know the task that they're going to do. And remember, this happens before you release them to work. So here are some examples. And what I did with my teachers is I use clock partners. If you're not familiar with clock partners, they work something like this. Your name is in the middle. So my name is Adrian. And then you add partners like at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. You continue on until your whole clock is full. Once your clock is full, if the teacher says, please find your 3 o'clock partner, that means I would be talking with Jasmine. But if the teacher says, find your 8 o'clock partner, that means I'm talking with Rakan. So each time the teacher says someone, I have a different partner. And you see I have 12 partners. So on my sheet at 12 o'clock, it says Matt, and on Matt's sheet at 12 o'clock, it'll say Adrian. And we only have one partner. I use it at the beginning of the year, and then the students have it the whole year in their folder in case they forget who their partner is. I also think having projects with students is a really good way to engage them. So think about how you can create a project in your classroom that encourages you to use the learning styles that reflect the students in your classroom so that you're meeting their needs. Think about using whatever your curriculum is. Menus, choice boards, and raft assignments may be something good to help you do this. Raft assignments are really great for engaging students with different learning styles. And lots of this information can be found in the differentiation folder if this all sounds foreign to you. I encourage you to do a learning styles inventory with your class and then organize that information so that you can use it. Some examples can be found in differentiation as well. And then that'll make it easier to design projects like this. If you have any questions, feel free, remember to email me at amwaller@worldwideeducator.org. You don't have to do any survey, but you can give me your feedback. Hopefully you met this learning objective today, that you can create engaging lessons for your learners. Thank you for joining me, and visit my website at any time. Thank you.